All right, everybody, we are on air.
That was hard.
Oh no.
Oh my
All
That's
right.
God.
true. Great, Adam.
Welcome in to the Weekly
On our
Gridiron
team.
Season 2, Episode 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That makes sense because we're entering week 17. So it's like perfectly patterned.
just lined up that way, I guess.
I know. Well, we are your hosts, as always, Adam.
Dante?
And Luke.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Of course, it's no longer Christmas Day, but still the Christmas holiday season. So,
You could see and all that.
oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Luke, I like the helmet.
Didn't even
Thanks.
see that. Holy
That's
cow.
cool.
I will give a quick shout out. I'm wearing a new Patriots hat. Because of the lighting in here, you can't really see it. It's a bit of a dark hat.
Oh, hell
But
yeah. Clean.
shout out to my Uncle John, who does listen to this podcast weekly. He got me this hat for Christmas, and I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle John.
Oh yeah. Shout
I
out
believe
Uncle John.
Listening,
I
you're
believe we are all wearing at least something new.
Mean Joe Green
I
jersey.
got the yep, you go first, don't they?
Yeah, just a long sleeve, the legend, one of the best shielders of all time,
Mean
Mr.
Joe.
Mean Joe Green.
That is so cool.
Thank you, man.
Well, as you saw, this is an on-air shirt, and we got a Phillies hat from Zoomies, actually.
Hard. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was so happy to find this.
I mean, Christmas cookies as we speak. Just sorry.
I'm on my JJ Watt timing. I got chocolate covered pretzels next to me.
Oh, so hard.
So good.
Can't beat
I
Um,
got Pepsi, and we got the new water bottle. Shout out Uncle John and my dad.
yes, mine's here somewhere. Um, I gotta be careful with those pretzels because look what I got. New for Christmas, the vintage Drew Bledsoe jersey. Late 90s, got the Patriot logo on the sleeve. It's not the best lighting here, but a lot of the mixed pattern with the darker and the light blue, it's just such a beautiful jersey.
Absolute filth. So sick. We talked about it on the show before. That's one of my favorite
I think
jerseys
we have,
of all
yeah.
time.
It's
It is
it's
an amazing
it's
jersey.
crazy to be wearing it.
That's the only Patriot jersey I would ever wear. Like I need like a tie lob one of those.
I respect that. I love. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I love the Patriot jerseys.
Oh
I
yeah.
love wearing them. But I have a red one. You know, the jersey itself is sort of basic, as
Yeah.
are most NFL jerseys, and it's still beautiful, the red color. But the helmets really make that look.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
itself, though, is just a 100 out of 100.
It's undefeated. Honestly.
Sure is.
I really
Well,
hope you guys bring that back one day.
oh yeah, I don't even think Tom Brady ever wore those. We need to bring
Yeah,
those back.
dude.
Because trust me, if Tom Brady wore those, this would be a Tom Brady, not a Drew Bledsoe jersey, but
Well, you're wearing the jersey of the guy who made Tom Brady. So
that is true. Well, you know, the guy who made him could also be the guy who injured Drew Bledsoe. So
very true. Very true.
I got love for the '90s Patriots still. So
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
all right. Well, on that note, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for continuing to watch us, and now we will bless your ears with episode 17, as we said.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm just gonna run through the fantasy leaders real quick. I don't need to give really point values. I just want to run through the name because we all got to go through how our teams did this week, especially Mr. Dante. Um, but here, our leading scorers this week for defensive special teams, Raiders were the top defense, followed by New England, then Tampa, then Atlanta, and then Baltimore. And our honorable mention was a tie between the Steelers and the Lions. Shout out Josh Knapp. And then going on to our players, our honorable mention this week, Justin Fields, followed by number 15, very elite quarterback, Joe Flacco. Then Derek Carr, not as elite, but still solid. Josh Allen was 13, T. Higgins 12, CMC, Christian McCaffrey 11. Our top 10, CD Lamb, Calvin Ridley at 9, Justin Jefferson at 8, Mike Evans 7, Panthers wide receiver DJ Chark at number 6. Shout out DJ. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 5, Puka Nacua at 4. Dante, here you go. George Pickens, number 3. Get
That's
that man football.
It's about time a Steeler got in the top five.
Oh, yeah. And then our top 2 this week, Breece Hall, and with 51.5 points, our leader for the week, Amari Cooper.
Of course. Of course, a Cleveland Brown had to outshine George Pickens, but
Yeah. What
hey,
can you do?
It's
go ahead.
crazy. It's hard to outshine what George Pickens did. But
Yeah,
one
I
thing I
mean,
saw, which was crazy, is of Amari Cooper's like 260 yards, like 210 of them were through the air. A very small percentage of them were yards after catch. So that Joe Flacco is slinging it. Like I know it's funny, but he is playing at an elite level. I know it's funny, but he really is. It's crazy.
somehow, some way.
Somehow, he's just out there having fun.
Yeah, good for him, man. I mean, I
Absolutely.
don't have any animosity towards Joe Flacco just because we whooped his ass for 20 years, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Of
I don't
course.
think the Steelers need to be insecure about anybody from the 2010s in that division.
Yeah, definitely not.
The
Um,
Steelers definitely owned anybody they needed to own.
yeah, exactly. Except for the Patriots.
They apparently not even this year. I was going to say, well, we're not that good now, but apparently we can get into it. We ended apparently we ended Russell Wilson's career on the Broncos
That's
somehow.
crazy. Future Steeler, maybe?
I future something. We can get into that. Um,
Not a
I don't
future Panther.
know what else to say.
Mm,
Set.
Probably not a future.
definitely not.
I don't know if you guys were in the middle of talking about something, but I think just what they did today. I saw a report that not only did they hatch this plan weeks ago to bench Russell Wilson to save the money, they told him after his upset win in Kansas City, "Hey, we're probably going to bench you at the end of the season just to save ourselves some money so we can cut you cheaper in the offseason." And he was like, "What the hell?" Because they were peaking. They had just got on a win streak. They had just beaten the Chiefs. I just think it's done so completely dirty. He has something like over 3,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, something like that. He's not playing bad football at all. And from a business standpoint, I get it, but they just did that man dirty.
Honestly, yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, I've never really been the biggest fan of Sean Payton, and this doesn't really change that fact for sure.
Agreed. Totally.
I mean, he was in my division all those years, so that for sure is why I'm not the biggest fan of him.
Yeah,
To watch every time we play the Saints, knowing it would be the same thing. Drew Brees just torching the Panthers defense.
right.
And it started to look that way with Russell Wilson. I mean, they were playing great, but I can't believe the whole time it was like Russ was playing with a gun to the back of his head saying, "Hey, we're going to bench you at the first chance we get."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they've struggled. They've gone 1-3 in their last four, and they've fallen below the Raiders of all teams. But I really thought that they were having a good year.
Yeah.
We
Man.
can we speaking of which we can touch upon our games. We're on the topic of the Broncos, so I can do mine real quickly. Um at the Patriots beating the Broncos, I I must say I did not watch most of this game. I was at the gym following along at the fourth quarter, and I had known that Chad Ryland in all his greatness had doinked an extra point, and I'm pretty sure missed a field goal earlier in the game. So when I saw that he was lining up for 56 to win the game, I was like, all right, OT it is. And then he hits that. So I don't know what to think about Chad Ryland anymore. Of course he hits the near 60 yarder for the win when he can't make an extra point. But Patriots win, and it's tough to decide at this point whether I'd rather win these games or lose these games. Before this game, I was going to say I still want to lose these games. And we had gotten up big 23-7 or something like that. And so we almost lost this game. We let them come all the way back. It was about to go to OT until that field goal. And I would have been fine with that. Um, but instead we win, and there's a part of Patriots fan base that we need to lose out. We need to keep losing. And there's a part where of the fan base that says we need to win every game possible. I can't cheer for my football team to lose. And I'm like in the middle of a tug of war between those two camps. But at this point now, with I think that was our fourth win on the season. We dropped from the second overall pick to the fourth overall pick in the next year's draft ranking so far. Um, it it's our shot for the number one or number two pick is pretty much gone. So we're either going to have to really suck and lose to the Bills and the Jets and hope for the number three pick, or what I'm voting for now is have a little bit of fun, beat the Bills, beat the Jets, fall all the way down to the seventh or eighth pick, and hope Jaden Daniels is there.
I'm
It's probably
sure
He's
I'm
probably
sure
just as good of an option as Drake May or Caleb Williams, let's be honest.
it's, those three have really, they were all like on different levels, but this past like the last month of the college football season, they've all like
Yeah, they've leveled out.
it all evened out. And
Yeah. Drake
maybe
May has always been the number two, but Caleb Williams was struggling, and Jaden Daniels had a historic season.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, especially historic end of the season. Early on, he was obviously good, but man, he turned it up towards the end.
yeah.
Anyway,
So at this point, a good win without Ramondre Stevenson, who went on IR today, ending his season. Bailey keeps on winning, and I'll take it at the end of the year. Bill Belichick is obviously not going to go down without a fight, and I'm still not sure whether or not we're moving on from him this year or after this year. With every passing week, it just evens out back to 50-50. I'm really not sure. Um, but whatever we do now, I don't think he's going to roll over and let the Bills and the Jets beat us these last 2 weeks without a fight, no matter if he knows he's going or not. So I expect us to put up a fight, and I expect us to beat the Jets because we always beat the Jets. And Zach Wilson will probably be back. And if there's anything Bill Belichick does not do, it's lose to Zach Wilson, especially if he knows he's on his way out, and he might know that. So, I expect us to keep fighting, and at that rate, with 2 wins we didn't really need against the Steelers and the Broncos. Hopefully, we just keep winning and take the best player available.
true. Word.
Yeah, sounds good. Solid.
Adam, you want to talk about our young king, Bryce Young, and the Panthers for a second, even though you guys did unfortunately lose this game.
Yeah, I'll go into it. I was at work, so I didn't get to watch the game, but I heard very good things about it. The young king himself, Bryce Young, I saw last night in his last 3 games, which he's played 4 games now without Frank Reich as the coach. But in his last 3, he has an 85.3 PFF rating, Pro Football Focus. He's a 85.3 PFF rating, which is 5th place among active quarterbacks currently. So he's been playing well. He has looked really solid. A lot of Panthers fans were saying this was the first game we saw real flashes from him, like real franchise quarterback stuff. And the Panthers matched up well against Green Bay. Couldn't get the win. A lot of people are talking about that call at the end where I believe it was called a catch, even though it was a drop, and Green Bay got the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, I don't know. I'm happy we came that close with a team like the Packers, who are definitely solid, definitely fighting for a playoff spot right now. And we're just really just seeing improvement, which is what I wanted for sure. DJ Chark's looking really good lately. Now looking like a guy I wouldn't mind maybe getting another 1-year deal with Carolina this offseason. I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe Chark's just a 1-year guy. Next year we roll with Thielen and Jonathan Mingo as the 2 main guys. But now maybe include Chark in there, unless we get someone like T. Higgins. That would be fantastic. Really praying for it. But 2 more games left. Just keep on improving. That's all I can really ask, and go from there.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, DJ Chark has looked good. That toe tap late in the game this week. He
I know.
definitely looks like maybe Bryce Young's favorite target at the moment, which is weird to say, knowing how good Adam Thielen was earlier this year.
Yeah, he was. I should add DJ Chark had 2 touchdowns in this game. And the week before, our game-winning drive against the Falcons, he had another insane toe tap catch where he was definitely his favorite receiver on that game-winning drive. So it's good to see Chark getting involved finally, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Dante.
All right. First of all, going into this game, I thought we were gonna honestly get our ass beat. I honestly thought we were gonna lose in really ugly fashion. But to start the game, our defense came out and they gave up a first down. Maybe it was 2 first downs, and then they shut them down. They played short yardage. They tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It was beautiful. And after that, I was like, okay, maybe there's something here. And then you guys saw it. First play on offense, George Pickens takes it 86 yards to the house on Mason Rudolph's first or second pass attempt. Maybe first pass attempt.
Very first.
Very first pass attempt. And GP, one of my favorite players on the Steelers, quieted all the critics, shut them all up. And man, this was like a breakout game from George Pickens, if there's such a thing, because he has had some great games. But man, this is the best game he's ever had in his career. 4 receptions, 195, 2 touchdowns. Najee, 1978 for 1 touchdown. I mean, you can't really.
That's what you want to see, yeah.
Yeah, you can't complain about that whatsoever. But what really stands out, I'm sure you guys know where I'm going here. Mason Rudolph, 17 for 27, 290 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Who saw that coming? Honestly, I was expecting maybe.
Not me.
I was
Maybe
gonna say, apparently you did on our bold predictions that you basically said 3 touchdowns, which you were close, and the Steelers win convincingly.
I forgot I said that.
Yeah.
I was just throwing some BS out there, but I guess that worked out. In all honesty, I did not see that coming. But I expected maybe 14 for like 27 for like a touchdown and a pick. That's what I expected. But man, he really proved me wrong. And another aspect of our game that really isn't getting talked about enough is our defense. I mean, of course, we gave up some little dink and dunk passes to T. Higgins because he had a very good game. But guys like Eric Rowe, who just joined the team, 86-year-old Patrick Peterson, who just joined the team this offseason. Alex Highsmith had an interception. Picked a steamy hot Jake Browning off 3 times. Yeah, we quieted that flame real quick.
Yeah, you sure did.
We were how many yards away from? We were 3 yards away from our second 400-yard performance of the year.
Dang.
And our first one also came against Cincinnati. So I guess the Steelers just own the Bengals this year. I don't know. But I did not expect this at all. This was the best Christmas gift I could have ever received. Steelers are 8-7. If they win out, I think their playoff chances are about 90 to 95%. And we have a beat up Seahawks defense coming up, and then a Raven team that, if they win this Sunday, will most likely be resting their starters. So,
and you've already beaten the Ravens this year.
and we already beaten the Ravens, though. I think the Ravens kind of beat themselves that game because they had stone hands pretty much every play that game. But
Divisional, you just never know though. So
yeah, very true. But yeah, Steelers 8-7. If you told me the Steelers would be 8-7 a month and a half ago, I would have been pretty upset. But now I'm pretty happy. So yeah, Steelers hopefully make the playoffs. Mike Tomlin is that guy. I don't care what anybody says. And go Steelers, baby.
So I have to ask the question. We all saw the report today. So it's pretty much answered for us that Mason will be the starter next week because Kenny is not back to 100%.
Mhm.
I gotta know though, the question that would have been much more interesting last night. If Kenny were back to 100%, would you start Mason or Kenny?
I would start Mason Rudolph.
You start Mason.
I would start Mason Rudolph.
I think he's earned it.
I don't know how you bench a guy that put up the best quarterback performance
Since
since
Big Ben.
since Ben Roethlisberger, and the most points since Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. Since I'm trying to think who else was on the team. Devin Bush was on the team then. Cam Sutton was still on the team then.
Bush. What a guy.
Devin Bush. Hopefully we play him this week. Who else
Juju.
was on the team? Juju Claypool was on the team. Are you kidding me? How could you? I don't know how
James
you.
Conner. Yeah.
Jalen Samuel was still on the team. James Conner off the team.
Yeah.
Anyway, go off on a tangent, but I don't know how. I'm the biggest Kenny defender on the planet. I love the guy. I think he has heart. I think he has major upside. But you just can't bench Mason. I'm way more confident going into the Seattle game with Mason Rudolph starting at quarterback than Kenny Pickett. That's a sentence I thought I'd never say in a million years. But yet here we are. I guess it's a Christmas miracle. But I can't wait to see how Mason does. If he sucks, it'll be much easier to go from Mason to put Kenny in. It'll be much harder to go from Kenny to Mason. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I do think that no matter how Mason does, it'll be Kenny as soon as he's ready. Because I was talking to my dad today, and he had a good point. That imagine Kenny's back to 100%, and you just ride the hot hand, and Mason comes in, and he somehow has 3 great games in a row. Maybe you sneak into the playoffs, maybe he does fine and you lose, maybe you miss the playoffs. Then how do you go an entire offseason and say, well, he looks great, but we're starting Kenny to start the year anyways? At least if you put Kenny back in there and he doesn't play well, you could say, well, we'll have a quarterback competition. But I think if Mason earns it, he earns it. But I do think it's going to be Kenny as soon as he's ready.
I agree with that. But I do think if Mason has a performance like he did against Seattle, I mean, as he did against Cincinnati against Seattle, I don't know how you.
I don't know how you.
I mean, maybe that was a fluke. If it is, then and Mason sucks against Seattle, then your answer is obvious going into the Ravens. It's as Kenny Pickett, but I don't know. It's interesting. I did not expect this, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe you say, hey, the scheme is finally working. If we plug in Kenny, it'll get even better. And you hope to God that's true. But I still think Mason just earned it.
the last point I'll make before we move on, before Kenny got hurt with the before Kenny got hurt, um, during a short stretch, his game in like a quarter with the new offense and new coordinator, he was balling out. That's all I'll say. Maybe the one thing we learned from this whole situation is that Mitch Trubisky sucks, which we obviously didn't learn that. We just knew that. Maybe he was the issue. Maybe both of these quarterbacks are really good, but Mitch Trubisky just sucks. That's also a possibility. I think whoever you go with, you'll have a pretty good chance to win. Anyway,
I was gonna say, Dante, you're feeling a lot about this game like I did last year. Panthers were hosting the Lions, a game that I knew was gonna be difficult. Maybe we wouldn't win, and we just destroyed them, ran all over them. That was just a crazy game that I didn't see coming.
yeah.
So I know how you're feeling right now for
Oh yeah,
sure. And it's a
absolutely.
great feeling.
It's a
To have
unexpected but amazing feeling. Yes.
expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. To have that victory day after on Christmas is the best part.
I went to sleep like Homer Simpson in that meme.
Yes, of course. All right, guys. Do we want to jump into our picks for week 17?
Yeah, sure.
So just to review, Dante, you had a really good week last week, was the winner for last week's picks. You're now 148.92 on the year. I kind of had a step back. Luke, you had a good week as well, so you gained some ground on me. Luke and I are both 145 and 95, so it's as close as ever. But Dante, you've got a comfortable 3-game window.
Nice. Perfect.
All right.
Like not lead, that's for sure.
We start with what I believe will be the final Thursday night football game of the year. I don't think they do any in week 18. So, we have the Jets and Browns in Cleveland. So, the Joe Flacco Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, I can start off by saying Joe Flacco is going to win the Joe Flacco Bowl and show Robert Saleh, you should have picked me up and stick it to me.
Pretty easily, I think.
And maybe the whole world will finally realize that if it weren't for Aaron Rodgers saying he wants a year with him, Robert Saleh should probably get fired, but he won't be. Because who is he going to put out there? Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson, and not going to be as good as Joe Flacco. And that is a total waste of their year. If they had Flacco in there from the jump, maybe they could have made the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers could have come back. Total mismanaged. But Joe Flacco will have that chip on his shoulder. And I said it before, I don't think it's a fluke. Obviously, he isn't that good, but I don't think it's like a Tommy DeVito getting benched. Josh Dobbs getting third stringed. I don't think it's something like that. I think he'll continue to play good.
And they could bring back someone who has had a lot to say about quarterbacks lately. Someone who's a free agent. Cam Newton. I'm just kidding. He's not coming anywhere this year.
As that one tweet that was sent to one of us the other day said, I'm not. People may just have to finally realized that after multiple surgeries, Cam Newton's shoulder has become pulled pork. He might not be able. He might just not be able to play anymore.
Yeah, that was me that found that. I sent that, and I was like, it's a crazy choice of words. Pulled.
It is. Yeah.
He has Oppenheimer's shoulder, but
Yeah. Dante, I think I know who your pick is for this game, unless you said it already. Cleveland?
yeah, I'm going Cleveland. And as I make this pick, this is insane that I'm doing this. This is a week of unexpected. But thank you to the Cleveland Browns for beating the Texans. That really helped out the Steelers' playoff chances.
There you go.
I'll give out some more thank yous as we go on because this was the perfect week.
That entire division lost this week, so
That's
Sometimes,
crazy.
sometimes it's
that
okay to
the
think you're
Broncos, the Browns, or not the Browns, the Bengals. You guys crept so much closer.
The Ravens won, but
Well, they're gonna get the 1 seed, so you
yeah.
were. So
But the
that's
other two AFC, yeah,
unfortunately the Ravens won.
I'm cool with it.
I know you're cool with
yeah.
that.
I still think the 49ers needed a test, and they got one. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Brock Purdy a fraud? Question mark.
No, he just had one bad game. He'll be fine.
2022 Dante says, "I knew it from the jump."
I mean, I'm still not the biggest believer. I'll just.
That's
I think,
fair.
I think you got to take it with a grain of salt, but I'll get into that.
All right. Next game to predict, we have a Saturday night football game on ESPN. So I guess that's why there's no Monday night game this week. They do it so weirdly at the end of the season. But we have the Lions and Cowboys in Dallas. That'll be a fun game.
Oh yeah,
Lions coming off a week where they won, and for the first time in their franchise history, because the last time they won the division, I think it was the NFC Central. It's the first time in the history of their franchise they're NFC North champions. So congrats to the Detroit fans.
yeah.
I know there's still some to play for with that team, but man, Dallas, they've had 2 rough games, but I think they're waiting to get home and get a win in front of their home crowd. I think it's gonna be this week. I think they're gonna beat Detroit, but I think it's gonna be close.
Luke, you go because I don't know yet.
I know it's a tough one. I'm not confident in that pick, but
I'm gonna pick Dallas as well. They are just a different animal at home. Going down there in that heat, that might be a little uncomfortable for Detroit, and they might. I know they have that mentality in that locker room to just bulldoze whoever is in their path, but I still think they might get a little bit complacent having won the division.
Yeah, that's fair. I really do want to pick the Lions here, but if this
Honestly,
game,
game, but
if this game was in Detroit, I would have picked the Lions. But man, the Cowboys are unreal at home, especially offensively. So
my
yeah,
thought.
yeah. So I'll go with the Cowboys.
all right. If the Cowboys lose, I believe it will be 3 losses in a row for them.
Which I mean, I'm not the biggest Cowboy hater in the world. I'm really not a Cowboy hater at all. But like, man, that would be devastating for them.
And the Eagles, who are currently in first place in that division, have Arizona this week and the Giants again the week after, which probably could be 2 wins for the Eagles. So if you're Dallas, you need to win this week
Oh yeah,
to keep pace going into week 18.
Mhm.
Because I think if they lose and the Eagles win, unless I'm incorrect, the Eagles could wrap up the division this week.
Yeah,
Because they'll be 2 games ahead going into the final week. So
yeah, and I just want to say neither of these teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, have been impressive these past 2 weeks. I mean, of course, the Eagles squeaked out a win against the Giants, but if you're the Eagles and contending for the top 2 seeds in the NFC, you shouldn't be letting the Giants score 25 points on you. Especially, well, I guess Tyrod Taylor isn't that bad, but still 25 points, man. Can't be doing
right.
It's not, no.
It came down to the wire too. Literally the last pass of the game.
I was watching it literally on this couch.
I was watching it a few rooms down.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's move on to Sunday, 1 p.m. slate. Our first of, let me see, I believe 1 p.m. game Sunday. Busy slate.
Yeah.
It started off with the Titans and the Texans in Houston. These two have faced once already this year, a few weeks ago. where Case Keenum got an overtime victory. I don't know who's going to play for Houston this week. Now, I think I know for a fact Will Levis is still injured, and I think it's Tannehill again. But this is an interesting one. Dante, it would probably help if the Texans lose this game for you guys, for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
I don't know who I'm going with. Is anyone?
CJ Stroud did return to practice today, and I do know
Okay. All
I knew
right.
who I was going with before I read that tweet. Ryan Tannehill can't win football games in 2023. So I
Okay.
really, to me, it is kind of that simple. I think he's not good enough to play um with these teams against these teams with winning records. Case Keenum, he beat them last time, and not enough has changed, especially if CJ Stroud plays. I'm picking the Texans no matter what.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. I was leaning Texans, especially because Keenum already has a win on the Titans this year. And now that Stroud's coming back, that makes that decision even easier for me. So Houston for sure.
Before you said that, Luke, that Stroud returned to practice, I was going to go with the Titans, but I'm going Texans. With that information, I don't know how you could pick the Titans in this game.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think Ryan Tannehill can win you any games in 2020.
Hopefully, I'm wrong because I'll be rooting my ass off for the Titans in this game for the Steelers' sake. But
Yeah,
I I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Falcons and the Bears in Chicago. Desmond Ritter got benched, right? So it's Taylor Heineke again. And they're coming off a big win with him. They won 29-10 last week, I believe. Yeah, 29-10 against the Indianapolis Colts at home. Bears also coming off a big 27-16 win over Arizona. This is an interesting one. If the Bears win, they'll be still alive going into the final week of the season, which early on is something nobody expected at all.
Not at all. It's obviously far-fetched, but it's possible, you know.
I believe if they lose this week, they're eliminated. But
They'd be 6-10 then.
the Bears, I think, would be five. I don't know.
No, it says they're 6-9 right now. So
Oh, Bears are 6-9. Okay.
yeah.
Do the Falcons have 7 wins then?
One sec. Falcons are 7-8. Yes.
Okay. All right. I couldn't remember if it was, I knew one had more. I didn't know if it was like 7-6 or 6-5. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess Bears would be 6-10 if they lose this week. But I think they'll be 7-9 because I'm going with the Chicago Bears. So,
This one's tough, man. I'll go Falcons.
okay.
Falcons.
First disagreement of episode 17.
I'm going to go Bears as well.
Right. It is an interesting one. Both teams definitely have something to play for. Bears are trying to keep their season alive. Falcons as well, as well as trying to stay in the hunt for the NFC South title. I wouldn't be opposed to Atlanta keeping on winning because that means Mr. Arthur Smith gets to come back for 2024. So I'll be happy with that if that's the case.
Yeah.
But now we move on to what I think will be the game of the week. We have the Dolphins traveling to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Plenty of implications for this one. As Dante said earlier, a Ravens win gets them the 1 seed in the AFC. Of course, that's what Dante wants to happen. I don't know. Do the Dolphins win the division if they win this one? I feel like they could.
I think they do. Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Which would make it interesting if they lose because Miami and Buffalo play week 18.
So if the Dolphins win, they'll get to 12, and the Bills are at 9-6. So yes, if they win this game, that'll secure the East. But if they lose their last two and Buffalo wins their last two, then it's all
Buffalo,
tied. Yeah.
because say Buffalo wins this week. Buffalo has 9 wins, you said, right? They would have 10 wins. They'd be 10-6. Miami would be 11-5, right?
Yep.
So
No, if who wins this? Who'd you just say?
if Miami loses, they'd be 11-5, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And if Buffalo wins their game, they'll be 10-6. So we could have a battle for the division possibly
Yeah.
in week 18, which is interesting because Buffalo took the first of those two games that they'll have with Miami. So all right, lots to talk about, but that'll be for next week. Dolphins or Ravens? Who we going with, guys?
Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I don't know how you could pick against them after their dominating performance against the 49ers. Mainly defensively. Their defense shut them down for the majority of that game. On the road in Santa Clara, like that's just unreal. Like nobody does that.
Under the Monday night lights.
Yeah, prime time. Yeah. But yeah, I think the Ravens are gonna I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but they'll squeak out a win against Miami.
I think it might be a blowout.
Really?
Miami, the notion that they can't beat good teams is unfortunately sort of over. I can no longer say their last win against an above 500 team came of week 3 of last year because it came last week. But that was the Cowboys on the road. So does it count? Well, we'll see this week.
Here's the thing, Luke. Before you make your pick,
Too late, but
the notion around the I'm trying to think about what I'm gonna say. The notion around whoever was gonna win that game between Miami and Dallas was, oh, the other team can't be good team, so it really doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Miami won, oh, Dallas can't be good teams. Dallas won, oh, Miami can't be good teams. You know what I'm trying to say? But
yeah, it was always going to be that either way.
yeah, but
Doesn't mean that invalidates it. I was talking
yeah,
to he was trying to say, no, this means Miami is a legit Super Bowl contender. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm being a little bit biased. But I was like, my analogy to him was the Washington Wizards beating the Pistons doesn't make the Wizards a good basketball team, does it?
very true, very true.
That's a bad analogy, but it's a straightforward
You get your
um
point across.
get
It's a fair one for sure. Yeah.
So I'm picking the Ravens. I think they're going to expose a lot of problems. I think just like they just did for the 49ers, they'll give the league a blueprint on how to beat them.
Yeah. It pains me to say it. Being from Pittsburgh, not liking the Ravens very much. The Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now. You got to give credit where credit's due. And I think they're going to continue that and get themselves the 1 seed in the AFC this week, meaning for once, the road to the Super Bowl may not go through Arrowhead Stadium.
Thank
For
God.
now, it goes through the bank.
Thank God.
Well, the second best bank behind Citizens Park, that is. But yeah, give me the Ravens. I think they're gonna, like Dante said, I think it'll be a little closer than expected. Maybe Baltimore wins by a touchdown, 10 points, but I think the Ravens win and get that 1 seed. So, all right, Luke. Oh, wait, no. Saints and Buccaneers are first. Okay. I thought the Patriots game was next, Luke. Saints and Buccaneers. This is a big game for both teams. I believe the Buccaneers can lock up the NFC South with a win. I think. Don't quote me, but man, I really don't know my playoff implications going into this week.
Um, you said
Talking,
the Bucks could just can secure the
I think they have 8 wins right
well, if no, if they wouldn't yet because
now.
if the Bucks win and the Falcons lose, then yes. But if the Bucks win and the Falcons win, then the Falcons are still alive for the division somehow.
And they don't play each other in week 18. I know that for a fact because Tampa plays Carolina in Carolina. So could we perhaps play week 18 spoiler? Wouldn't that be fun?
That
It
would
won't.
be that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. But let's focus on this game. I'm gonna ride with the hot hand. Baker Mayfield is balling out right now. Give me the Buccaneers, especially because they're at home. Give me Tampa.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa also.
Absolutely riding with Baker.
The Saints just look like a confused team to me. Dennis Allen should not be the coach there. I've said this for a while. You guys know this. I'm not a Dennis Allen fan. And I don't think he should be the coach there after this year. So, all right, Luke,
You need one thing. If the Buccaneers win this division and they make him their franchise quarterback, I'm going to need a return of the "At Home with Baker Mayfield" commercials.
Yes.
'Cause that's where my mind went to when you said the Buccaneers are at home and Baker, and I was like,
Forgot all about those. That
I need
was
one.
amazing. We need those back for sure.
And the Browns moved on from that guy, so that they get what they get, even though they're good now.
Dante loves to see Baker balling out, I bet.
Yeah, it feels really nice to see him play well after what the Browns did. I've talked about it before, but you guys know where I stand.
Yeah, even though they have Flacco this year, I mean, who knows beyond this year for sure. They're still stuck with Deshaun Watson.
Right now I would take Baker and Joe Flacco over Deshaun Watson. Maybe that's
Agreed.
but
It's not ridiculous to say that.
Not ridiculous at all. Anyway, Luke, go ahead, preview the Pats game if you want.
Buffalo coming in to Foxborough. We beat Buffalo earlier this year. That was before they started to figure things out, but it was also before people realized that they had things to figure out.
Luke, I don't mean to correct you. This game is in Buffalo, not in New England.
Oh, all right. I thought that I was thinking about where we had beaten them, and I remembered loving it so much that I thought I loved it so much because it was in Buffalo, but Foxborough. Okay. Well, then we're going to Buffalo, which isn't that much of a change, pretty much the same weather. And we have a chance to do it again. We have a chance to play spoiler with our playoff hopes, and we have a chance to worsen our draft pick once more. It's the Bills. I'd still do it at this point. We already have 4 wins. What's one more? Last time was Mac Jones. This time is going to be Bailey. I'm not sure if he is going to be able to lead us to a win this time. He's led us to a couple wins we probably didn't. Nobody expected us to win, and if I know Bill Belichick, as I said, he's not going to go down. He's not going to go down in these last 2 games without a fight. And I think maybe Sean McDermott has to feel like if he doesn't make the playoffs, he has to be worried about his job, though. So this is kind of a hard game to pick, but also let me reset my brain. And it's a great team versus a team who's slightly exceeding expectations, which is still a 4-win team. So, having beaten them earlier this year, we're not going to sweep them. I'll save my one last picking the Patriots for next week, and I'll pick the Bills.
cool.
Yeah, sorry, Luke. Sorry. If you hear noises, I don't know why my stomach's making noise.
Dude, sorry.
I ate dinner, so I'm not hungry for anything.
That happens.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills as Luke, or as well, Luke. Sorry, but I feel like they have a little more to play for at this point, and if they're gonna have a chance at the division possibly next week, I have a feeling at home they're gonna want to set themselves up for that. So, yeah, I will be going Buffalo as well.
As will I. Yes. Give me the Bills.
I don't
Okay,
get me wrong. At this point, I do hope we win. We've already dropped so far in the draft that 1 or 2 more wins, divisional wins, are gonna feel good, aren't gonna hurt that much. If we want one of the top 3 players, we're gonna have to trade for him anyways. So at this point, let's go out there and take 2 divisional opponents and kick their ass. Although that might be a little bit too much to ask for this week. Won't be next week, but we'll see. If we can somehow sweep Buffalo this season and play spoiler to their playoff hopes, I would love every minute of it. I will just say that much.
Yeah.
I will say, Luke, don't forget, you can definitely trade up for the top pick. You're looking at someone who's done it before, even though we did give up a
All due
little.
respect, I'll stay where I'm at if it comes down to that.
That's fair. I mean,
Or
hey,
I'll trade up to 3. I'll trade up to 3 because I'm still comfortable with whoever's there. But 4 is just such a. I like Fashanu. We're all Penn State guys, but there's the top 3 players of the draft, and then there's a gap, and then there's everyone else. So I really wanted a top 3 pick, but oh well.
I was gonna say if you can get Jaden Daniels where you're at, there should be no reason to trade up. I mean, but hey, keep in mind, say the 2 QBs. Don't forget Marvin Harrison Jr. He's gonna go in one of those top 3 picks probably.
That's what I meant. The top 3 players of the draft. He MHJ included.
Oh, okay. All right, I see. All right. Well, let's move on then. We have the Cardinals and the Eagles, Battle of the Birds in Philly. Eagles coming off a win, Cardinals coming off a loss. Who we going with, guys?
I can, yeah, okay, Eagles. Definitely the Eagles. They are hitting a rough stretch, but not that rough of a stretch.
If they lost this game, could you imagine the uproar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they better not. The Cardinals are. They won that one game against I don't even remember who when Cowher came back, and since then they've been about as bad as everybody expected them to be. So the Eagles better not be so clumsy that they lose a game like this.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, we have my Carolina Panthers going to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Battle of the Cats, I guess. Battle of the Southern divisions of the NFL, AFC South versus NFC South for the final time this year for the Panthers. They are, well, I guess 1-2 against the AFC South so far. I don't know why I thought we had 2 wins against them, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I saw Trevor Lawrence didn't practice today, so I don't know if he's going to play. It might be CJ Beathard, is I guess their backup. But I'll let you guys go first. Make your pick for this game.
I'll start us off with a bang. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. Um, the Jaguars haven't been playing great no matter who's under center, no matter who's a QB. So maybe even if Trevor plays, I'll stay with the Panthers. They've been looking so much better since firing Frank Reich. Who would have thought it? And the Jaguars keep on tripping over themselves. Um, so a loss like this will really make them question things, maybe just in time for the playoffs. And it doesn't seem like anybody wants to win that division right now. The AFC South it is. If that's yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick the Panthers.
Dante, can I actually give my pick?
Mhm.
Luke, I know the only time you've picked Carolina this year, I feel like I flip right away and pick them. I promised today, going into the episode, if I was going to pick the Panthers, it wasn't going to be because you picked them as well. But I am using my upset of the week card here and picking us, something I never thought I would be doing ever. Like going into this year, I had this marked as a loss to Jacksonville for sure. Like last week, I had this mark as a loss, thinking like, okay, final games, what can we win? Jacksonville, absolutely not. Well, now Trevor's out. They have looked pretty bad the last few weeks. Bryce Young has looked a lot better. It's interesting. It would be a huge opportunity to win on the road and possibly put a dent in someone's playoff chances. So why not us? But hey, I mean, if Jacksonville wins, I'm not going to be surprised, of course. But this may be the last chance I get to pick us this year because if Tampa has something to play for next week, I'm probably going to pick Tampa. So we'll see.
Who would have thought that the 2-13 Panthers would get a clean sweep from the weekly gridiron? But it's happening. Going into this, I was thinking about it before Luke even said anything. He kind of stole my thunder here. But I was I was thinking, Jags not looking good. Trevor Lawrence out. Panthers just dropped 30 on the Packers.
Well, Trevor Lawrence ain't out for sure yet, but it's looking like it.
As
Even
I
if
said, whoever they have at quarterback, they haven't been that good.
only put up 12 points
Absolutely.
on a Buccaneer defense. Give me the Panthers.
Things are looking to be in our favor right now, which I like. So,
Adam, I'm sure you can't wait to see the full bar of Panther
oh, dude,
text crap.
absolutely. I've only seen it one other time this year, and that was Thursday Night Football, where we were unfortunately all wrong, but let's hope we are all right this time.
Was that against the Bears?
It was against the Bears. That mess of a game we had where Tyson Bagent just went off. That was the second to last game for Reich, I think. I think the week no. He had 2 more games after that. We played Dallas and got spanked and then lost an arrow 1 to Tennessee, and that was it. So
Mhm.
but after that Bears loss, a lot of people had given up on Reich. So All right. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Colts in Indianapolis. Both teams coming off I should say, surprising week. Raiders got a big Christmas Day win in Kansas City, and the Colts got destroyed by the Falcons. So I legit don't know who I'm going with. So do you guys know? Do you want to go first?
I think I do.
Go ahead, Dante.
Antonio Pierce is that guy. Give me the Raiders.
Okay.
Colts look flat-footed, giving up 29 points to Taylor Heineke in a struggling Falcons offense. And the Raiders going into Arrowhead. I don't care what the condition is, what the condition of the Chiefs is at that point in time. It's so difficult to beat them on the road. Yeah, give me the Raiders.
Luke, do you know?
Adam, do you know?
Ah. All right, give me Vegas. I thought about it. I was kind of leaning toward them. I don't know if I could trust the Colts right now, which is crazy to say. But Vegas, they're having some fun right now and they're playing well. I think Antonio Pierce is going to end up getting that full-time head coaching job after this year. I know that normally does not happen in the NFL. Happens a lot more in leagues like the MLB, but I think it's going to happen with Pierce. He has won over that locker room. He has won over that fan base. Yeah. All right, Luke.
You guys are right about Antonio Pierce bringing fire to that locker room. It was such a tough win to get for them last week in Kansas City. It was so impressive. And with all that being said, I'm going to defer and put my trust in Gardner Minshew and Shane Steichen.
Okay.
And I'm really putting my trust in them because a game like this, if I'm right, not that this super matters, but I'm going to creep that much closer to Dante in these standings. And if I'm wrong, that's my season because I'm probably not going to disagree 5 times next week.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to put my trust in them. I think in most cases, interim head coaches are flawed somewhere, and I think Shane Steichen is a really good head coach. And that was a rough loss last week. I don't know what happened. Maybe Taylor Heineke was just granted one game by the football gods to go out there and play amazingly with the Atlanta Falcons. But I don't think that it games like that are a true showing of two teams. It was probably a fluke, and while the Raiders just got a hell of a win, the NFL loves to do that sometimes where the story is leaning so much towards one team and then you just rip their heart out, and I think that's coming for the Raiders. Both teams are in prime position to fight for a playoff spot to the end, and I just believe in the Colts more.
Very fair.
I'm putting a lot of trust in them.
If the Steelers win and the Colts lose, the Steelers will be in the 7th seed. So that's
Dante, I just want to say something.
yes, sir.
It's not a bad prize if the Steelers finish in fourth place because you guys play the NFC South next year. And who's currently in fourth place for that extra NFC AFC game?
But I don't want to finish in 4th place.
I
Respectfully.
know. That's fair. That's fair. I'll be happy if we get to play you guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'd rather play. It's looking like it's gonna be you guys or Cincinnati at this point. And judging by Joe Burrow being back, I'd rather not play Joe Burrow. So, all right, let's move on now. We have the Rams and the Giants in New York. Yeah, Rams.
Hmm.
Not hard.
Yeah. Rams.
Rams have been looking much better recently. I would not want to play them in the playoffs.
Agreed.
I think it's slated right now that Stafford and Goff would play each other.
Stafford in Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. It'd be interesting for sure. I don't know who I'd pick for that game.
I think that's another 2 or 3 weeks down the line, so we'll get to it.
We'll see if it even happens still. But anyways, another game that I think is absolutely no debate. 49ers and Commanders, our final 1 p.m. slate game.
Need I remind you, Adam, what the perception around this game was very early in the season?
Yes, I know what it was.
The prophecy has changed, and it won't come true because I am picking the 49ers. How much fun would it have been if the 49ers were undefeated
Yeah.
playing the Commanders this week? I probably would have put all my money on the Commanders, but not this time. Because if the listeners don't know, because the Commanders are known as the streak busters, last year's Eagles, the 2021 Steelers, they just always do it. I think the Ravens in the preseason, they just always do it. But not this week. The 49ers are on the complete opposite of a winning streak, so I will take them in this one.
Dante, who's your pick?
Niners.
I had to ask, just to be sure.
They better win this game.
If I
Yeah.
like
If the Niners lose this game, man, I'm gonna be scared for them in the playoffs. That is for sure.
man, that'd be so funny.
It would be crazy.
Devastating for him.
Ah,
Devastating, man. That would suck.
yes. All right. 4 p.m. slate time. Dante, first game. Go ahead, talk about it.
I'm not used to the Steelers playing at 4 p.m. back-to-back weeks. I'm gonna be working. That's insane.
Oh man.
I'm never
At Firemuth restaurant.
Hey, if I worked at Sal's, I would come up there and take your shift for you, 100%.
That means the world to me, Adam. Thank you so much. But
Hey, I just signed up for DoorDash. Maybe I'll take something from Sal's and come up and say what's up to you.
yo, that'd be insane. Oh my goodness. You better do that, Luke. You better follow through. But Steelers playing the Seahawks at Lumen Field, tough place to play. But this Seahawks defense is beat up. Steelers coming off a huge win over the Bengals, as we talked about before. Steelers need this game. This is Mike Tomlin in December, while his 500 streak is on the line. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, when you think about the all-time greats, you got Olympic Michael Phelps, 2018 LeBron, 90s Jordan, 2010s Tom Brady, and you got December winning record on the line, Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's
Better.
go.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-7 right now, correct?
Yes.
Tomlin is going to lock up that winning season this week. I'm going with a clean sweep Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's not just because of Tomlin. I believe in Mason Rudolph
Yeah,
to do a very tough crowd. I know that from experience. It is not easy playing football in Seattle. They're going to get a big statement win that could really help their playoff odds going into the game in Baltimore in Week 18. So,
Yeah. We just need this one, man. Need it.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Now we have what would have been a really fun game to watch if a certain side of the matchup was healthy, but Joe Burrow's not playing. But we still have the Bengals and Chiefs. These two have had some interesting games in the past. And it just so happens that a team in Kansas City, Missouri is currently not playing up to par. Interesting.
Right.
What'd you say, Luke?
I said that's one way to put it.
Not playing well. So, it's interesting. I don't know who I'm going with.
I can start.
I feel like I know, but I don't know. Go ahead, Luke.
Maybe last week before the Steelers ended the storybooks run of Jake Browning, maybe then I would have thought twice about it. The Chiefs, as bad as they might look right now, are still the Kansas City Chiefs. And there's really no reason for me not to pick them. Although, maybe they do cough up one more game, in which case this has been a really ugly season for them. But they've already looked bad enough. Any worse than they might actually be a bad team. I still think that they can beat anybody in the playoffs outside of the top 4 or 5 teams. But I don't think they're as bad as losing this many games. And I still don't think that Jake Browning is that good. So I'm going to put some faith in the Chiefs this week.
Yeah, me too. I think they'll lock up the division this week.
I don't take any enjoyment in that. I don't really like anybody on the Chiefs. And I kind of like the Bengals. So, but
I'll add this factor. 2021, the Bengals clinched the division against the Chiefs. 2023, the Chiefs are going to clinch the division against the Bengals. So I'll add that in there.
Yeah.
Dante, who's your pick?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. How like insane would it be if I picked the Bengals after the Steelers beat them against the Chiefs? Like that would be a big statement. That'd be basically saying the Steelers are better than the Chiefs, which they're not. But that would be funny. But no, I'm going with the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I feel like they can win this game at least. All right, final 4 p.m. game, Chargers and Broncos. We know now it is going to be the battle at QB everybody was rooting for. Easton Stick versus Jacoby Brissett.
Ooh, Brissett.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, did I say Brissett? I meant Jarrett Stidham. I'm
But
sorry. Jacoby
If-
Brissett plays for Washington, but he's also playing this week.
If it was Brissett, my pick would have been easier. I would have picked the Broncos pretty easily.
Yeah, me too.
I do need to say something, Dante. You weren't in the group chat. I texted this in, or texted this in. I think I came up with this take. Mason Rudolph is who delusional Patriots fans thought Jared Stidham was.
Mm,
In the
that's
sense
funny.
that, well, not to this extent, but there were some Patriots fans pushing a Jared Stidham is the savior of the future uh narrative after Tom Brady left. And I just never took it seriously. And because he sat behind Brady, whereas Mason Rudolph isn't your savior, but he sat behind Ben, and he might actually be a pretty viable quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll get into this, Jared Stidham, I have no reason to believe in. So, I'm going to pick. It's the Vikings that they're playing right now, right?
LA Chargers.
I thought you said Nick Mullins. Oh, that's even uglier. Actually, I might pick the Broncos. Yeah, no, never mind. The Chargers aren't that good. Um, I'm gonna pick the Broncos, although I don't really like them any more than I like any other team. So even though I think that they aren't gonna make the playoffs, it's a little too late for them. I think the Steelers or anybody could take their spot. I still think that they're gonna be able to beat teams that have no purpose left this year, like the Chargers.
Adam. Sorry.
Do you know who you're going with?
I do, yeah.
Go for it.
I'm going Easton Stick and the Chargers. They played the Bills really well, man. They nearly beat the Bills last week. Let's not forget that.
I did forget about that, but I'm
24
keeping.
to 22, Bills sneak past an Easton Stick led Charger team. And the Broncos just lost to the 3-10 Pats. No offense, Luke, but you have to take that into account.
Taken.
At one point down 23-7 to the Pats. Um, yeah, I'm going Chargers.
Yeah, as they say in sports, the Broncos' insanity run is officially over. Give me the Chargers.
Let's go.
Okay.
But man, I wouldn't be confident in either pick in this game. To me, it is incredibly evenly matched.
Yeah, they're both ass.
Pretty no bueno.
Oh,
Anyway, Sunday night football,
One
we
game
have
left.
division rivalry. Packers and Vikings in Minnesota.
I think this will be a good game.
I think so too. Jordan Love against Nick Mullins. I'll go with the Packers. Although I will say this, they suspended Jair Alexander for one game because he was on the field for the coin toss when he was not supposed to be there,
that's just insane to me.
which
Ended a
is
game? Maybe 5.
insane, especially because now who's going to guard Justin Jefferson? Oh, wait, no, that's a fair point. Who's going to guard Justin Jefferson? Oh, that makes this harder. I'll still go Packers. I don't know. My gut just says Packers.
I know who I'm going with, Luke.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I know who Dante's going with too.
I'm going Minnesota. Who's gonna guard Justin Jefferson?
I'm going Minnesota as well.
All right.
The Packers just gave up 30 points. No offense, Adam, to the Panthers. They made DJ Chark look like Justin Jefferson. So imagine who they're going to make Justin Jefferson look like.
That's
So
That's fine. I will. I'll do what Luke did with Indy and Denver, and I'll stick with Green Bay alone in this one. We'll see who's right. But, anyways, an interesting week of picks, which included a clean sweep for the Carolina Panthers against a current division leader. Not something I had on my bingo card going into this episode, but
it. Happened.
got to love it.
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to hear on the weekly gridiron.
Never.
If the Panthers actually win, I will throw the biggest party known to man.
What do you guys have to lose at this point? You know,
Exactly. We not like we're tanking for a draft pick or anything. And
you guys have a first round pick?
no.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you have like the Bears or no. I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
The Bears have ours.
Yeah. And then the Bears have like the 8th, right?
Yeah, I think they were number 5, but they might have fallen further now.
I just saw it and I think it said the 8th. But
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if we tank this draft pick for Chicago and it ends up being like pick 2 or 3?
that would be awesome.
Who knows? Luke will try and help you out.
We're not doing ourselves much help, so forget about that for now. It's fine.
All right, maybe we'll help out Arizona then. So Marvin Harrison Jr. can go first overall. I'd love that, honestly.
Oh yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
That does it.
That does it for episode 17 of season 2. It'll be out for y'all. Well, it's out right now because you're listening to it.
What are you doing?
I know. Well, hey, as always, we are your hosts, Adam.
Dante?
And Luke?
We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out. Have a happy new year.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you guys.
Catch y'all later.
Peace out.